You're listening to the Abolitionist Roundtable, patriotic Black American conservative all-access radio, with your hosts, Del, Phil, and Janice. They're leading the charge in advancing the conservative revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
And we are back, and we are going to have a guest on in just a minute. But before we do that, Janice is going to give us a little information about an event coming up.
Yes, indeed. The Tri-County Sportsman League is presenting an event called Kids on the Range Day. It's Saturday, July 9th, 2016, and it's free. Bring your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews for some gun range fun. There's going to be firearms, archery equipment, ammunition, ear and eye protection that'll be provided free, and it'll be a mandatory safety orientation. Depending upon the age, the kids will have an opportunity to try a pistol or a rifle, archery, turkey shoot, and trap. So it sounds like a great time to have your kids understand the true use and the important safety precautions when you are using weapons that will protect you and your family. Right. So registration is going to be accepted through June 30th, and you can contact Dondi Gorlitz at it's 517, that's the area code 517-414-3437, or email DM Gorlitz, that's GOERLITZ1 at gmail.com. That's dmgorlitz1 at gmail.com. Thank you, Phil.
Well, thanks for that. And that is very good. Because we need to get as many young people in and involved in their heritage. That's their heritage.
That's right.
To be able to protect their family, even hunt to feed their family if necessary.
Yep.
Because believe me, I believe if we don't keep our eye on the ball, we are definitely going to lose it. Yeah. Well, we have coming up on the show someone who we've had on the show before. His name is Bonner Cohen, and he is a very good source for us to get a handle on this upcoming debacle that President Obama is going to join us in on, some more of this nonsense that comes out of the UN. Coming up on Earth Day this year, that's May Day, that's the old Communist Party Day, you know.
Yes, that's right.
But that's Earth Day. Obama's going to sign us on into the Paris Agreement on climate change. So,
well, that's what he did last week, isn't it?
Was that last week?
Yeah.
Was that Earth Day last week?
Absolutely.
Well, then that shows you how much.
Oh my God.
But anyway, if he's on our line and he's going to give us an update on it. Good morning, Dr. Bonner.
Good morning.
Dr. Cohen,
I'm delighted to be here, and I'm glad you started off the show mentioning Obama's plans to bind the United States to the Paris Climate Change Agreement. And it was actually, it actually was adopted last Friday, which was Earth Day. The interesting thing about Earth Day is it was specifically chosen back in 1970 to be on the anniversary of the birth of Vladimir Lenin. Yeah. So it's Lenin's birthday. So it couldn't have been more appropriate. I'm sure the irony completely eludes Barack Obama.
Right.
but that shows you just the kind of mentality that is at work here. And instead of something being red in the traditional communist sense of the word, the colors have changed. Now it's green.
Right.
And we are supposed to be worshiping a green god. But the interesting thing about the International Climate Change Agreement is that it contains absolutely no enforcement mechanism, which means that all the signatory states have, quote-unquote, committed to do X, Y, and Z, but no one can make anybody do anything. So the administration will trumpet, well, China's going to do this, and India's going to do that, and European states are going to be doing this, that, and the other, when, as a matter of fact, probably nobody's going to do much of anything. But the danger for us is whereas we are not obligated to do anything at the international level, Obama will use this as an excuse to do things domestically here in the United States through the regulatory agencies, first and foremost EPA, to impede our access to affordable and reliable energy, all under the guise of protecting the planet and protecting us and protecting public health from what he and his cohorts would have us believe is the imminent threat of climate change.
Could you tell me what is the actual threat that we are supposed to be trying to protect ourselves from? Is it getting too hot, or is it getting too cold, or is it just what do you call it?
Just right.
Lukewarm?
Just right. The nursery rhyme. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right.
Yeah, the Goldilocks thing, huh?
Well, actually, we're quite fortunate to be living at a time of relative climatological stability. Now, according to the theory behind what used to be called global warming, but which has been rebranded climate change, our use of energy, specifically fossil fuels, the burning of fossil fuels, we are told, puts dangerous levels of greenhouse gases, first and foremost carbon dioxide, commonly known as CO2, into the air. Those greenhouse gases trap the heat on the Earth, and that leads to a warming of the planet. Okay, that's the theory. Now, do the climatological observations confirm the theory? If so, we have a problem. If not, we don't. And the evidence is clear that the theory has absolutely no validity whatsoever. Over the past 18 years, there has been absolutely no warming whatsoever. What little warming we experienced, and it was a grand total of 1 degree Fahrenheit, from the mid-1970s to the mid-1990s, came on the heels of a cooling that took place between 1940, roughly, and the mid-1970s, which followed on the heels of a warming between 1910 and 1930. You get the pattern.
So you mean it's cyclical,
It goes up and down and up and down.
Round, around.
The warmest decade in the 20th century was actually the 1930s. And the 1930s took place at a time when there were practically no greenhouse gas emissions at all. So there is no connection between man-made emissions of greenhouse gases and a warming of the climate. And any measures in the form of rules and regulations imposed on all of us to solve a problem that does not exist will do an incredible amount of harm.
Well, what about when they said that there would be bigger and more frequent hurricanes, hurricane season, and we haven't had a hurricane in what, 5-6 years?
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. You see, remember I said the thing used to be called global warming. Now they had when the temperatures didn't rise, they had to slap a new label on it. So they came up with climate change. And in connection with climate change, they said, well, we will have more Atlantic hurricanes, and they will be we will have greater frequency, and they will be of greater intensity. The exact opposite has happened. Florida has not been hit by a hurricane in 11 years.
Wow.
At no time since records have been kept has Florida ever gone 11 years without a hurricane. Now, the crazy thing about weather is Florida could be hit by 11 hurricanes this year.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
That's just the way Mother Nature works. What they're trying to do is scare us.
Right.
That is the important thing. Scare us into doing things that are completely contrary to our own interests, but which benefit unelected and unaccountable bureaucrats in Washington because it gives them more power to determine what we do. And it also entails a transfer of wealth from the American taxpayers to providers of alternative energy, wind, solar, and the like. The interesting thing about this is it's actually a redistribution of wealth. And when we think about that, it's usually, well, okay, you're going to soak the rich and give it to the poor. Oh, no, not with this. This actually soaks the poor in the middle class and gives it to
The rich. Oh, God. Well said.
Well, real quick, what is the El Nino effect? Didn't that have a contributing effect on hurricanes?
Right. This is a perfectly natural phenomenon, which, to be honest with you, we don't fully understand. But we do know that the El Nino effect has been going on for a long, long time, probably going back thousands of years, if not longer. What it does is every 6 or 7 years, the currents in the Pacific Ocean switch. And what this means is, as a result of a change in warm water currents, air heavily laden with moisture comes across the Pacific to South America, then it comes up through the Gulf. And what it typically does in the United States is it dumps an enormous amount of rainfall, and at higher elevations and at higher latitudes, snow. So we had one this past winter. It's a pretty strong one, as a matter of fact. So here in Washington, D.C., where I am, we had an extraordinary amount of rain. And when that rain, the moisture coming up from the Gulf coincided with some cold air coming in from the northwest, we had a tremendous blizzard here, which you may remember.
Yeah,
and 3 months ago, we had 2 feet of snow outside my window here, which in this part of the world is highly unusual. And these things are cyclical. These big El Ninos occur about every 6 or 7 years. Now, they can lead to flooding, which is bad, but they can also help alleviate the drought that's been going on in California. So it's like a lot of things that Mother Nature serves up. It's a mixed blessing. What's a curse for one person is a blessing for another.
Right.
Well,
but
what's
it has
that?
no connection with climate change. It's a perfectly natural phenomenon.
Dr. Cohen, what was the opposite of El Nino? Isn't there another?
There is. It's called La Nina.
La Nina.
And when we have La Nina, this is something that typically follows shortly after we have an El Nino, and this is a drier period. When we have La Nina, typically we have less rainfall. Not only in the United States, but also in parts of South and Central America.